And welcome back to the Legislative Lounge. I am your host, Natebige, with my co-host, Professor Mike. How are we doing, Professor Mike?
We good. Been an interesting 24 hours. Got banned off TikTok last night.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it goes for us kind of people. It is what it is when it comes to social media. They like to still censor it. But you know what is funny about that, though, Mike? I've been seeing a lot of like bigger name TikTokers who are conservative, really reaching out and calling out TikTok about that whole situation. So I mean, I don't know if you were in the live with us at the time, but I also spoke with 𝗦𝗨𝗧𝗧, which, if you're on social media of any kind, you should probably know who he is. But he has been able to talk to, I think it was like the director of the U.S. something or other. It's the dude that runs everything for TikTok here in the United States.
Yeah, I was in
And
there.
so that was kind of interesting here, kind of where he's coming from on that and why he was being banned and whatnot. But I mean, hopefully with this another, I believe it's another 90 days Trump gave to sell off TikTok, we can finally get somebody to buy it and we won't have to deal with this BS. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, like my entire account it's still there, but it's completely nuked. Right? I don't get views on it whatsoever.
Yeah,
But
I
I
I
got
was I was good. I posted a few videos yesterday. They were doing wonderful, and then I was just checking my account at work, and I watched video go down, and I was like, oh, here we go.
oh man, I didn't. Yeah, I'm still. But see, I've been testing it too because you don't get any amount of traction on Instagram, right? Because their algorithm is complete garbage. So I've been taking the videos that I have on TikTok and putting them on Instagram simultaneously within seconds,
Hmm.
right? And I showed you one video. I've got 400 views on TikTok. It's at 70 something thousand right now on Instagram.
Hmm.
I mean, it's just amazing how they just completely, I don't know. It is
Yeah,
what it is. But I
yeah.
mean, we got a lot. We got some other more important things to talk about. Obviously, the
Hmm.
big elephant in the room, or should I say camel, in the room, since we're talking about the Middle East,
Yeah.
is the whole Iran, Israel, America bombing the hell out of them kind of a thing. What's going on?
I mean, as far as we know, as of right now, President Trump came out and said that
Well,
Israel.
hang on.
Wait, what do you mean?
Why you always like to jump to the end, man? Let's start from the beginning. Give these people the information.
I like dessert. But anyway, if you're living under a rock and you haven't been paying attention to anything, then I America bombed the shit out of Iraq or Iran. Almost said it. I almost said Iraq, which would also be true.
I mean, we
But
did.
we did.
He
But
wouldn't have been. He would have been wrong.
oh, what was it? Friday that happened?
Saturday night,
Saturday. So
early
Saturday.
morning, I should say.
So Saturday, Iran was bombed. Three of their nuclear sites were bombed by the United States, and it's quite interesting. We were given no reasoning as to why, no evidence as to what drove this decision-making process. We actually had a live with older millennial, as Nate was pointing out, where we discussed it and how we didn't just how we disagreed with the action because we didn't see the evidence that necessitated it.
Well, I've actually changed my position on that. Um, just because there was actual notice that was sent out, Christy Nome, and I do have proof of that as well here. It was reported that they had intel. Now, obviously, they can't share military intel with us, right, publicly, or where it's coming from and all this other jazz. But
Mm-hmm.
it was confirmed, about 3 days ago or so, that Tulsi Gabbard, I'm sorry, not Christy Nome, Tulsi Gabbard says that there was intelligence indicating that Iran was had the enough munitions or whatever, enough uranium and whatever they needed to make a nuclear weapon,
Yeah,
which honestly is something that they've been trying to do since the 70s. I mean, they keep stockpiling their uranium, enriched uranium, and then I mean, you got people like Hillary Clinton that like blatantly just gave it to them, and then Joe Biden unfreezing $14 billion or something like that for them to be able to move forward with this kind of stuff. But nobody likes to talk about that, right?
Well, I mean, in the same breath, like you had Obama, Hillary, and Biden all contributing in some way, shape, or form to the stockpiling and increasing and progression towards nuclear armament of Iran.
Mm-hmm.
And in that same breath, Hillary Clinton would say, if I was president and they got close to a nuclear arm, I would bomb them.
I mean, we've got that proof. See, that's the funny part about it is a lot of people like to forget this, but take a look at all the individuals that said exactly the same thing Trump said.
It is clear we will not allow Iran to acquire a nuclear weapon.
If I'm the president, we will attack Iran. Whatever stage of development they might be in their nuclear weapons program in the next 10 years, during which they might foolishly consider launching an attack on Israel, we would be able to totally obliterate them. That's a terrible thing to say, but those people who run Iran need to understand that.
Make no mistake, a nuclear-armed Iran is not a challenge that can be contained. It would threaten the elimination of Israel, the security of Gulf nations, and the stability of the global economy. It risks triggering a nuclear arms race in the region and the unraveling of the Non-Proliferation Treaty. That's why a coalition of countries is holding the Iranian government accountable. And that's why the United States will do what we must to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon.
As long as I'm President of the United States, Iran will not get a nuclear weapon. I made that clear when I came into office.
And look, I mean, Iran has American blood on their hands, okay? And what we saw in terms of just this attack on Israel, 200 ballistic missiles, what we need to do to ensure that Iran never achieves the ability to be a nuclear power, that is one of my highest priorities.
So if you have proof that...
Dang.
You know, it's bad when Joe Biden is more literate verbally than Kamala.
I mean, in all reality, it's sad to see so many people talking about how Trump is a warmonger and all this other stuff now, all of a sudden, right? Just because he dropped one bomb. But I wish, if you guys go check Older Millennials video, if you know who he is, he's a good friend of ours. He put out a video because there were so many people like, I even had somebody commenting on, I think it was, what's that off spin of Instagram? That's
Threads?
Threads, yes. I saw somebody on Threads saying that Biden never bombed anyone.
I saw
like,
that.
What?
Like we can go back in time. Like
I say, do you want to ask the Houthis if they didn't bomb? You want to ask Syria if he didn't bomb?
Like we could Trump, like every president that has bombed a foreign nation, we can go Trump, Biden, Trump, Obama, W. Bush, Clinton, H.W. Bush, Reagan, like
every single one of them. I mean, look at what Carter did in friggin' Vietnam. That wasn't even a war. I mean, he carpet bombed it with Agent Orange and all this other stuff, right? But I mean, you even have, and now you have MAGA, right, or Republicans, conservatives going at each other about this whole situation, and it's as if like one side is like, oh, Donald Trump said he was going to run on no new wars, and blah. It's like there isn't a war started. First of all, it wouldn't be a war. It would be us bending over. Like, I don't even want to say that because I don't want to get too graphic. But put it this way: we could literally flatten the entirety of Iran without a single boot in Iran.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about nuclear weapons. Obviously, obviously we could do that, but like that's just detrimental to everybody. We could level that entire country with just the destroyers we have right in the Mediterranean.
Well, see, what started changing my mind about this is my beautiful wife, Megan, has been getting a lot of videos of the Iranian people posting on social media and their social media posts. So it's like what wilds me out, and I made a video about this today, is you have Democrats and fake-ass Republicans in America that are mad at Trump, and these people support the Iranian government. However, the Iranian people are praying for freedom from their government, and they hope and pray that either Israel or America takes that government out.
Right. And I mean, this is the thing with the whole situation with the people that are supposedly Republican MAGA, blah, blah, blah. They're saying, oh, Trump said no new wars. And it's like, yes, he said that. But he also said, he just like Obama, Clinton, Biden, and, Hillary Clinton, all them people, right? He said the exact same thing. And we have the proof during his campaign.
Iran have a nuclear weapon. You cannot let it happen because bad things will happen if that happens. But everybody stopped. They were ready to make a deal. We would have made a deal that was great for everybody. No nuclear weapons. You can't give them nuclear weapons. Now they're going to have a nuclear weapon. Don't let Iran have nuclear weapons. That's my only thing I have to tell you today. Don't let them have it. They would have never had them, including Iran. They can't have a nuclear weapon. That's all. They can't have nuclear weapons. It's too destructive, too powerful. They can't have it. But I wanted to make a deal with them. No nuclear weapons. You can't have nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons are the single greatest threat to this world, to the whole world. And Viktor Orban understands that, and some others do too. I just don't want them to have a nuclear weapon. And they weren't going to have one, and they cannot have a nuclear.
Now, this video is 16 and a half minutes long of in his campaigning, where he quite literally said he'll do anything he needs to do to keep them from getting a nuclear weapon. And yet you have these absolutely outside their mind conservatives claiming that, oh, Donald Trump ran on this no new wars. Like, it's not a war, you incompetent twats.
Well,
it's an airstrike.
Like he did the same thing with the leader of ISIS, his last term, right? He took out what the hell is his name? Abu Ghani? Yeah.
Abu Ghani.
I love that comedian though. But it's like he took out the leader. No new wars were started. Actually, it prevented any type of further military action. What does this do? It prevents any type of further military action.
What's so funny about that, though, Mike, because this morning everybody heard, oh my God, Iran's retaliating. We're going to World War III. Like they straight up called Qatar and the United States, say, hey, we're shooting these missiles to a base that's basically empty. Get them out. And guess what happened? They got them all out, and they intercepted every single one of them. Like, they literally, like, this was them trying to beef up to the world. I'm big. But the dummies didn't know that Qatar, the government of Qatar and the United States was going to out them and say, hey, these idiots called us and told us they were doing this.
100%. 100%. Like, it's not a big show of strength when it's like a football game and you're talking to the other team. Hey, we're gonna move this way. We're gonna play this. We're gonna make this play. Just so you know.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, taking a look at it, like I don't know if this is the actual video from it, but it's been circulating all over the internet. So bear your ears because it is. But it is kind of cool to see. So that's the video that's going around, saying that that's the actual the attack on Fardo, I believe it's how it's pronounced, Fardo, which is the primary site, right? They attacked 3 different ones, but Fardo was like the biggest one, I guess. And then we also have some images, satellite images that came out today, showing the before and after, which was kind of cool to see. So I'll show you guys.
I like the Google images.
But this, I don't know if this is Google or satellite or what, but like, I mean, here it is. America.
Every time I see that, I just hear that song, bomb, 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 Iran. but but it's wild. You see all of these fake conservatives, woke conservatives, fake MAGA. Oh, he launches, he drops 3 bombs, and everybody loses their minds. But what does it actually do? It not only does it take away Iran's nuclear capacity, it also puts them in check. It's like, hey, stop it. This is your wrist slap right now. Like, I could turn you into a parking lot if I wanted to.
Now, I know even older millennial, he was dead. He was kind of, we were all in that live. We kind of disagreed with it at first, right? Even he came out today. I was just on a live right before here, and he was saying that he was wrong because it did end up being what Trump said it would be, which is the fact that they've agreed to a ceasefire. And that's actually, it should be in effect by now or within the next couple hours, because this came out a couple hours ago, and he said within 12 hours or within 6 hours it would be happening.
Yeah.
So here we are, peace being made again, because the only option was for Iran to get their wrist slapped, right? Get smacked in their face for them to chill out. Luckily, that didn't needed to happen with Pakistan and India, which is why it didn't result to that, right? But you got people that act. It's like I describe a lot of these Muslim countries in the Middle East as an annoying, petulant child with a big stick. They find a big stick every once in a while. You got to rip that sucker away from them and smack them in the face and say, "Stop picking up them damn sticks."
Well, you know what's interesting about Pakistan? Pakistan actually nominated Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Right.
So, I mean, Donald Trump is doing something. And I think that something is towards the greater good. It's just a lot of stupid people in America can't see it.
I mean, you see it even all the way up into Congress, right? We talk about it all the time, how stupid these people are in Congress. Now you got this grandstander, is what I'm calling him, in Thomas Massie. Now this is a guy that I used to respect because he was hard nosed about getting past the status quo of just passing these bills without actually doing anything. And I like that about him because he was hard nosed about getting the Doge cuts entered in, getting more cuts done. I like that. But ever since then, he got kind of like pushed away, he's been just like a petulant child trying to make noise, trying to say, "Hey, I'm over here," basically. And he's doing that for the last few days now since this occurred. And he's going on Fox News or what is it, CNN now, and making all these grandstanding statements and whatnot. He did an interview, I think it was this morning, with CNN. I'll take a look at it real quick.
That this isn't an act of war, I find ludicrous. This is a hot war. There are two nations, Israel and Iran, trading volleys of missiles every...
Okay, I got to stop it right there, first of all. Does Thomas Massie have any kind of military experience, Mike? I don't know if you know that.
I don't think so. Most of these people that think, like, this is a war, no, this is not a war.
I mean, it's not a war for the simple fact that neither country, Israel or Iran, have declared war.
These people watch too many movies. They play too many video games. This guy, like you said, is a grandstander. He's just making noise. He's trying to save face from saying no to so many pieces of legislation, mainly the big, beautiful bill that has more good in it than bad.
Right. I mean, and it's really not even like bad. It just doesn't have more good that we want. And his only contention with it, honestly, is the fact that it doesn't have more of the Doge cuts. That was his main thing. Now he's saying, "Oh, it's all bad," just like the Elon when he was throwing a fit. He said the same thing, right? That's how you know they're just throwing a fit, because they start just saying this random stuff that contradicts everything that they were just saying, the weeks prior, basically. Because Thomas Massie has come out and said numerous times he just wants more cuts, which is understandable. I can get behind him on that. But when you whine like a baby like you have lately, it's like you get annoyed. But take a look at the rest of what he's saying here.
Night, every day, and we're co-belligerent now in this war.
I mean, the vice president went on to say that they needed to act now because there was a narrow window, and if they waited, it could have been too late. And they needed to stop the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. Do you not share that concern?
No, I don't share that concern. But I have another concern, and that is that 3 bombings to neutralize Iran may turn out to be the 2025 version of 2 weeks to slow the spread. This could turn into a protracted, prolonged engagement, and I'm here to represent the base of the MAGA party that got Trump elected. Most of us were tired of the wars in the Middle East and Eastern Europe, and we were promised that we wouldn't be engaging in another one. Yet here we see this happening, and there's the president and the administration say, "Oh, we're done. We've had our little bombing, and now this is over." But what happens if this drags on between Israel and Tel Aviv gets pummeled by Iran? Is President Trump going to say we're going to sit by and not do anything in that instance? I'm leery of this, given everything that's happened before.
I mean, I can understand his leeriness, but his entire base leading up to that is completely wrong. This isn't a war.
Nope.
We're not getting involved in the Middle East outside of anything we already said that he was going to do throughout his entire campaign, which we saw. So if you didn't see me, or if you guys weren't in here a moment ago, I showed I've got a 16.5-minute clip or video of a compilation of Donald Trump talking about how he will not allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon throughout his campaign for 2024, right? Mm-hmm. And then we also showed a video of Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and even Kamala Harris talking about how they would do anything. It was Obama, Hillary Clinton, and Kamala Harris all specifically said that they would do anything to keep them from getting a job. I mean, Hillary Clinton herself even said that she would bomb the hell out of the country.
100%. 100%. And it's, the leeriness behind what Thomas Massey is saying is, made null and void as of today. Like, you don't shoot rockets at Qatar and make a phone call before you launch the rockets to make sure that you don't hit any American civilians. Right? Like, the leader of Iran made sure that there were not going to be any American casualties because he didn't want that smoke. Mm-hmm. And majority of the world does not want that smoke because we will collapse any nation.
I mean, come on. Honestly, like, people that say that we would have went to war with Iran if they try to escalate and all this other stuff. Like, guys, Iran, they're stupid. But they ain't that stupid. Okay?
Honestly, what I would have seen, what you might see play out in the future is a PSYOP. This is just, let me delve into a little conspiracy.
Yeah.
So Special Forces is wonderful at infiltrating civilian populace and committing to psychological operations. PSYOPs, if you will. What I could see happening is maybe someone or a group infiltrating the civilian populace in Iran, mm-hmm. doing some psychological ops, and instigating a uprising and committing to a regime change.
Oh yeah, I mean, they've been talking about that for some time now. I mean, it's just that for some reason, I don't know what it is, if the Iranian people are just too cowardice or whatnot, but I mean,
just takes a little push,
right? Like, I mean, what more do you need? Because in all reality, you're sitting here with people being beheaded, people being beaten, women can't even speak over there without asking for permission, which
that's Sharia law right there.
I don't really mind about that. But just jokes, guys, just a little bit.
I just want to let everybody know he was whispering because his wife, his 4'11" wife, would come up and kick his ass.
She could try. But the thing about Thomas Massey is he was stupid enough to make this statement about a day ago, saying that this is not constitutional. Now, here on the Legislative Lounge, when somebody says those words, we go in because...
And we argue with each other.
No, we didn't argue. Don't talk about behind the scenes stuff, Mike. I was iron sharpening iron there, bud. Chill out. But in regards to the constitutionality of this, Thomas Massey, maybe you need to read the Constitution and the subsequent laws passed through Congress dating back to, 1973, which is funny enough that today you're starting to talk about that.
Oh, is he talking about
Oh, because once people started calling him out on social media about the War Powers Act or the War Power Resolution, oh yeah, he just kind of flipped the script and said, "Hey, I've just entered a War Power Resolution, and we need to vote on this." Like, oh, it wasn't the fact that you were just a complete idiot saying that this wasn't constitutional, when in fact you just didn't know the law or the Constitution, because it absolutely was. I mean, we're gonna get into it, but
Yeah.
I mean, right? This is what I don't get about him. Like, he even called out Mike Johnson. Now, everybody know me, right? I am not gonna defend Mike Johnson. I don't like a thing about him, but he was right here, and I don't have a problem with saying that. What Mike Johnson was saying was basically that the president made the right call, first of all, from a strategic point for everybody in the world, but from a law perspective, he didn't break any laws. He's the commander-in-chief. He has the authority through the Constitution and the First Amendment, or the first Article 1 and Article 2, and through the War Powers Resolution. But yet,
100%.
here we are, Thomas Massey, a few hours later after that first statement, starting to talk about the War Powers Resolution. Give me.
Wild. Like, I spent a little bit of time yesterday correcting, quote unquote, MAGA, correcting liberals. Okay, what article does the executive branch even fall under? Which part of the Constitution did Trump violate? Have you ever read Article 2, Section 2? Have you ever read the War Powers Resolution? Hey, did Trump come out and tell everybody that he telephonically notified Mike Johnson, the House majority and House minority, but the Senate minority couldn't be reached until a later date, but he was briefed?
But that doesn't even matter, because when you actually take a look, and which is even funnier, because Thomas Massey said something about it maybe a couple hours ago, which is hilarious, because he's like, let me see exactly. So for those that aren't aware, the War Powers Resolution gives the president the ability to intervene in a hostility, foreign hostility, as long as he notifies Congress within 48 hours, right? And he has to pull any troops or whatever out within 60 days. He did it the same day, so obviously falls under it, right? Okay, so he's within his powers, guys, which we're going to take a look at. I mean, we can take a look directly at the War Powers Act itself, and specifically in...
It's one page.
No, it's more than one page. It's 6 pages. Or, well, technically 5, but the last page has 1 sentence on it.
That doesn't count.
But in this particular section, I'm going to pull it up on my phone so that way I can just read it to y'all. It's easier that way. It's talking about in page 1 right here, where it talks about Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution that specifically provides that Congress shall have the power to make all laws necessary and proper for carrying into execution not only its own powers, but also all other powers vested by the Constitution in the government of the United States, blah, 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 right? Then it goes into the constitutional powers of the president, the commander-in-chief, to introduce United States Armed Forces into hostilities, right? So right there, we already know he has the power to do it, right? What the War Powers Act does here on page 2 of it, in section 4, it goes in the absence of declaration of war, which obviously there wasn't a declaration of war, right? We all know that. In any case in which United States Armed Forces are introduced, 1, into hostilities, blah, blah, blah. Like, it tells us what kind of hostilities, right? It goes through 1, 2, and 3 different kinds. Y'all can read it yourself. The president shall submit within 48 hours to the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the President pro tempore of the Senate at report in writing setting forth a circumstances Jesus Lord
necessitating.
I have a hard word with a hard
time
with that word. The introduction of the United States Armed Forces, the constitutional and legislative authority under which such, right? And then it goes into a number of different areas where it says that he has the 60 days, right? On page 3, section B said within 60 calendar days after the report is submitted or requires to be submitted pursuant to this section, whichever, the president shall terminate any use of the armed forces, right? So this is a saying. He has the ability to do it. He just has to notify Congress within 48 hours of doing it, right? Which he did. Mike Johnson already confirmed he did. Who is the Speaker of the House? If you didn't know that, guys. But then he has 60 days to get all the troops out. They were out that night or day. It was our night, their day. So no law, no constitutionality, nothing about this was unlawful or unconstitutional by any means.
100%. And so, to summarize, he could take his action. He has to notify the legislative authority, right, within 48 hours, and then also take that reporting and transmit it to the Foreign Affairs Committee. And then that allows Congress to determine by their authority if they should commit to further action should it extend past 60 days.
Should have went to them. That's where I was talking. That's on page 3 right here too. It's talking about it in this section B and section C, right? And then also goes into section 6 in regards to what Mike was just talking about.
And if you look right here at section B, any joint resolution or bill so reported shall become the pending business of the House in question, right? This is actually what we saw with Vietnam. It wasn't a formal declaration of war, but it was a joint resolution that was passed to commit further military forces. We saw this happen with Vietnam and any other conflicts, right? We haven't declared, Congress has not officially declared war since World War II. So every war was a conflict.
Right. And see, that's the thing. Even so, the history behind this is because of what happened with Vietnam, that the War Powers Resolution was even introduced in 1973. The whole, because Congress didn't agree with that whole situation, I guess, from the beginning, and how Carter went in and just unilaterally basically, started sending our troops over as if it was our war to be fought in the first place. But so that's a little bit of history lesson for you guys to know, to go along with it. But again, nothing about this was unconstitutional. Nothing about it violated any law. But yet you have, not only liberals losing their absolute living mind over the whole situation, you also have Republicans and MAGA faithful questioning it. I mean, you got congressional members out here calling for his impeachment over it, like this dunce AOC and a couple others. But then even somebody that's self-proclaimed MAGA in Thomas Massey literally saying it's unconstitutional. Well, Trump, he has a voice and he definitely uses it. So he went after Thomas Massey, which was quite, oh man. I don't know, did you see it, Mike?
No, I didn't.
Oh Lord. It was funny. Here it is. Here's the first one that he came out with. Look how long this thing. If Trump, no, he ain't got no chill. He ain't got no chill, man. He goes in calling them all sorts of names.
I just wanted to make a quick correction, just because I don't want us to get trolled in the comments by the misrepresentative presidents. So for Vietnam, it was LBJ and Nixon.
Oh shoot, I said Carter, didn't I?
Yeah, Carter came in 74.
Yeah, my fault. I named the wrong president. No, I had the guy in my head. I just said the wrong name.
Yeah.
But
the Southern strategy, Republican, the racist Republican.
But what's even funnier, when Trump just come out, he's like, "Get this bum out of office." Like I say, man, Trump ain't got no chill, man. I love everything about it. Let me see here. I think he said a couple different things. Oh no, that's the initial post of when he actually. Oh no, this is okay. So this was our next point. So the whole media, right? Even the leftists, they tried to stir up this crap late last night into early this morning, right? Talking about how somewhere it was being reported that there was very little uranium there, and then it went to almost none, And then it said that they were empty, like Fordo and all those locations were all empty. This is unfounded information to the max. Literally nobody was reporting this that actually had clearance to the information. So the CNN, MSNBC, ABC, and even liberal talking faces like on social media. You got Harry Sissons and all them clowns. We're all given the same script, saying that it was fake, that there was nothing there, that they were all empty, all this other crap, right? But yet it's unfounded information, but yet we're not the ones that do the research.
Like, it's been a known fact for decades, literally since my entire lifetime, that Iran has been stockpiling uranium. And it's known that they have been trying to make nuclear arms, which through international cooperation, they've only been allowed to use nuclear energy for civilian purposes.
Right.
So it's wild that these, and if you want these lies to stop in the news media, you need to repeal the USA Freedom Act, the Patriot Act, and reinstate the Smith-Mundt Act.
100. But I love the fact that Donald Trump, he just calls them out, man. Calls them out by name too, right? Saying that this is completely false. So if you guys are watching and you hear anybody saying that it was empty or partly empty or any of this crap about how all these locations were a waste of time and they didn't actually hit anything, that's founded on no information or intelligence that's been reported by anybody of actual understanding of the situation.
100%. Just if you're in that conversation, if you like to debate like me and Nate, just keep your calm and just say, do you have a source, where you're getting that information, a government source of intelligence that you're getting that information?
That's all you need to do, because they're not going to be able to. Because why? Because all they heard it was from either the news or somebody, a big liberal talking face like Harry Sissons or something. That's literally all they heard it from.
And I guarantee you the response they'll give you is, you got to do your own research.
Oh, absolutely. Or they'll be like, they'll try and deviate in some other areas and whatnot. So, but I mean, so this is over, right? This is over. It should be done in the next couple hours, whatever, which was the entire point of bombing them in the first place. Say, hey, don't screw with us. We're going to get you guys' crap done, taken care of. So
100%.
We did it, and here we are. So
no new wars. Still a good promise being made.
Absolutely.
I know a lot of liberals are like, and some right-leaning creators, like, we got asked the other day what we think of Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's like a smarter version on the right side of AOC.
I wouldn't even say she's smarter,
but
I don't like her.
So
Straight up.
I think there are better Republicans to emulate. I think there are better Republicans that have passed legislation. So I really don't care. But some good news that I just heard from Nate about, a change of subject. The Supreme Court ruled today.
Whoop, whoop.
So you want to get into that?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do. I'm going to pull that up here for you guys. So the Supreme Court has ruled in favor of Donald Trump in regards to his immigration plans, right?
Not again.
Oh, God. Golly wee. I don't think he's lost a single court case, but when it comes to immigration, it's because the fact this is all stemming from lower courts, right? The federal courts blocking Trump from removing illegal criminal. And it wasn't like, this isn't like just any illegals. This is criminal illegals, like those that have charges against them for murder, rape, whatever, that are being removed to a third party country while going through this whole process, right? This judge said, nope, can't do that because you got to give them actual notice and let them fight it and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, hold up. you don't have the authority to tell the executive branch what they can and cannot do. Because first of all, you're not an immigration court. And for those that don't know, because I had to argue with another simpleton lady from the left saying that the immigration court and the courts of criminal courts like you and I would go to, the Sixth Amendment, all this kind of stuff, right? They're not the same. Due process is not the same in those courts. It falls under the executive branch, not the judicial branch. The process of how they do things is a little different. So you don't have, these federal judges don't have the right to unilaterally just make these assumptions. But the fact that we are getting all these court cases from the Supreme Court setting precedent for us, now we'll never have to deal with it again. Which is the great thing about why the Supreme Court is giving aces right now.
100%. And let's see. This is good stuff. And of course, the only people that dissented were the 3 liberals.
Of course. And they spewed the nonsense from the federal courts. That's all they did.
It's ridiculous. But point is, we need to get these illegals out of here. I don't care how they get out of here. They didn't care about our laws. They violated 8 U.S. Code 1325. They're defrauding the American people. They're taking away your taxpayer dollars, especially if you live in California, where the California taxpayers are paying $22 billion a year for illegal aliens to gain benefits and whatnot. So, like, I don't know how much it is to every other state, but these people cost more than they contribute. You cannot contribute to Social Security or any type of benefits if you do not have a tax identification number, right? And if you're illegal, you can't get one. So if you're here illegally, you need to leave. And I would suggest self-deporting, right? That way you can reapply.
And you get a little bit of money nowadays, it sounds like.
Yeah, there's already over 1 million people that have self-deported since Donald Trump has taken office. It's only June 23rd. Almost 1 million people have self-deported. So take that route. Do not, if you're illegal, self-deport yourself. Don't wait to get picked up by ICE, because then you'll be banned for years.
Right. And I do know that somebody was asking though, kind of shifting gears though, in a way. There was a question in here in regards to whether or not this back and forth over the whole Iran thing was going to stop the processes of Congress from passing the bills, more specifically the big beautiful bill that has been named. I don't know the actual form.
It's stuck in Senate right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to delay the process any longer. Let's say that, because it's just in the hands of Senate, and they're discussing, because that we ultimately, we've been keeping you guys up to date. We've been talking about how we expect Senate to make some renditions and changes or additions to it in a way. So once they pass that, because I believe it will, it's just a matter of when, honestly. Mm-hmm. Then it'll go back to the House. They'll confirm everything in it, and then it'll go to Trump, and he'll sign it. So it's going to take the time that it takes, because first of all, y'all got to remember, these people are useless individuals. They work maybe 40 days a year, right? It is the most useless job in America at this point because of the way that they run Congress. I mean, if they wanted to be more efficient, first of all, they'd work more, and they wouldn't make these megalodon of bills to where they have to, 1,116 pages. That's stupid. There's no reason for it, right? But yet, what they are worried about is, like, it was just reported about 5 minutes ago, because they're in session right now. The House has passed a bill to defund the Taliban. Why in the world are we funding the Taliban in the first place?
Well, you could thank Joe Biden for that.
And people say, there's no wasteful spending, there's no fraud. Bro, we're funding terrorists. What are we doing?
Yeah, you are essentially spitting in the face of every American soldier that has died over there.
I mean, thankfully, we're defunding them. But why were we defunding them in the first place? And it's things like that, guys. Like funding a terrorist, known terrorist, that did kill several of our military members while they were over in Iraq, Afghanistan, and all that, why were we funding them in the first place? That makes I can't even fathom a reason on why we would do that, because they literally took the lives of our own people. It's infuriating. And then you sit here and you say, "Oh, there's no fraud. Well, that's a one-off." No, if there's a one-off, there's millions of other things that's wrong. Because you didn't even know about it. Y'all didn't know we were funding the Taliban, terrorists. But yet, oh, there's nothing else. There's no other fraud. I can promise you there's something in there about Al-Qaeda and all this other stuff too. I just need y'all to wake up. I need the American people to wake up and understand that, first of all, voting for the president is important, but who is in Congress matters. And not that they self-proclaim to be MAGA. Thomas Massie has shown us that that is so unimportant. You need to pay attention to what they're doing, what they're saying, what they're supporting. And if they're not doing what they say, or they're not supporting what they ran on, that's a clear indication that you probably shouldn't vote for that person again. Kentucky.
Yep.
South Carolina.
Yep.
If you're from those states, y'all people need to wake up. Get rid of people like Thomas Massie. Get rid of people like Cornyn here in Texas, Lindsey Graham in South Carolina, that old hag of a individual, McConnell. Like, why is he even still? He can't even function. He's worse off than Biden. Why is he still in Congress? These are the people running your country. We continuously tell you people to wake up and pay attention to who and what you're voting for. It's not everybody is your friend. I have a purest example here in my county, right? There's an individual. He was a judge. He was running for different positions. He has federal charges on him, right? For in the kind of like the Jussie Smollett situation, right? He made a fake Facebook account, tried to make it racist because he's an Indian guy or something like that, Middle Eastern, something like that. And he got caught and with bribery and all this other stuff too. And now all of a sudden, after all of that situations, he's still going through court. Now he's switching parties. He was a Democrat. Now he's self-proclaimed Republican. Like, no. Those are the kind of people that are what's happening, guys. There's people purposely running as Republicans, knowing that they're not a Republican, knowing that they won't vote like a Republican when they get to the Senate or the House, and yet they'll still proclaim it so that way you guys will vote for them. Look into their policies. Look into who they are standing next to, who they've been with in the past, how they've changed. Those are things that are important.
It's wild. And so, in other news, to keep with the immigration thing, did you know a magistrate judge said Abrego Garcia should not be detained on his criminal charges of child trafficking after a Tennessee grand jury indicted him?
Jesus Christ.
And you have a magistrate judge. It's signed magistrate judge, not a real judge. So people really need to, understand. Stop getting in your feels. This is black and white. This is the law. You need to allow this person to stay in custody so he's not lost in the system, so he doesn't just disappear and continue to traffic human beings. Like this dude is a human trafficker. He's a wife beater.
We have him on camera, guys. We literally have him on camera smuggling people. What are we doing?
He beat his wife, and you guys want him to go free. Like, if anything, that's a spit in the face to every female victim of domestic violence. And then you have another federal judge releasing Mahmoud Khalil,
Another
Wait.
person that's directly tied to terrorists.
He was released on bail. So, and that was last Friday. And guess what? Guess what his first action was? He went to another anti-Israeli protest.
People will never know. They won't.
This dude's a terrorist. He's a terrorist on American soil who supports terrorists. That's what Hamas is. Hamas are not freedom fighters. They are terrorists. The Palestinians, everywhere they go, destruction and chaos. They breed terrorists. I don't care how that makes you feel. I don't care if you call me an a-hole. I call it for what I see. This is why the Palestinians were kicked out of Jordan. This is why they were kicked out of Egypt, because everywhere they go, chaos and destruction ensues.
Right. So the next couple weeks should be interesting, though, honestly. With the whole, Iran-Israel thing now dying down and, Congress is in session, we should see some real big movement in that. And then also we're coming up on, I believe, we're past the 60-day mark for the whole tariff situation, right? So I think that was June 19th, which was last Thursday. So we've got a couple more weeks until that deadline. So over the next month, right, over the next 3 weeks, we should be seeing some pretty big changes. Oh, it's 4 weeks. Pretty big changes in regards to our trade deals. And we should see the stock market and all that. I mean, everybody's been talking about how the stock market's so bad and all this other stuff, right? Like,
they don't pay attention.
Like, I'm so sick of hearing about it. People still saying that their grocery prices are high and all this other stuff. And it's like, come to find out, they're all from freaking California. It's like, well, maybe if you pay attention to your local state legislation, you wouldn't have those issues. But I mean, we're all California, apparently.
We look at the stock market right now. We're at 42,581. Look at the NASDAQ. We're at 19,630. We look at the S&P at 500, 6,000. You're looking at a positive growth on all three.
Right.
And you guys don't even pay attention to stock markets. You don't know how to invest your money. You don't know how to diversify your income. And as far as like grocery prices, I live in Arizona. I'm right next to California is high because California is paying for California's mistake.
Right.
And that's Gavin Newsom.
Yep.
So I live in Arizona. My grocery prices are good. I can buy more groceries for my dollar than I could 6 months ago.
Right. And even furthermore, I know people have been freaking out because they claimed, here's another falsehood, right? Going back to kind of Iraq, but it ties in with gas prices here in America. They were talking about how they shut down this particular area in the Mediterranean. I can't even pronounce the name. I'm not going to.
The Strait?
The Strait of something. I don't know. Whatever. It didn't happen. This was based on the same thing that where they got the information regarding Fardo being completely empty and all this stuff. It's not from any credible source that actually knows the information. Plus, FYI, for all the dummies that keep claiming that, our Navy's already there. They couldn't do it if they wanted to.
So, to summarize, it's been a great week. A lot has happened. We had a necessary action. We bombed the shit out of Iran. We put them in check. Now we have peace between Iran and Israel because of our action. We have deportations that are set to go forward like they're supposed to because it's constitutionally allowed. It's within his authority by the executive branch. So more to follow as time goes on. Be sure to follow the Legislative Lounge continuously.
All right. And thank you guys for joining us tonight. We'll bring more back to you guys. Tune in with us tomorrow. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, follow Radio DeBang. It's Radio DeBang, one word. And you guys can see us on the radio show here in Houston. And so go follow us there. We're there at 7 p.m. Central also on Tuesday nights. But we'll be back with you guys next week. Mike, take us home.
Yep. Be sure to tune in to us tomorrow on Radio DeBang on Facebook. Easiest way to find us. And be sure to follow Nate and myself on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Natebige on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And then always you can find me, Professor Mike, Professor Mike _ now on TikTok, since I just got banned because TikTok's a hater. But we love you. Follow us on all the social media handles you can see at the bottom there. And have a blessed day.